Michael Marcantonini back with you on the IronBirds radio network. Top of the third inning from Ripken Stadium. 1-1 our score between the Jersey Shore Blue Claws and the Aberdeen IronBirds, each team with a run in the second inning. And as we open up play in the top of the third, the Blue Claws set to go with Hao-Yu Lee, Leandro Pineda, and Rickson Wingrove, the 2-3-4 hitters. First pitch of the inning from Gene Pinto. Lee fouls it off his foot, and he's down in some pain. And while we've got a quick second, I want to welcome in Baltimore Orioles Director of Player Development, Matt Blood, to the broadcast. Matt, thanks so much for hopping on air with me tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is fun.
So, Matt, you're in town for a couple days to check out the Birds. You go all around and check out the different affiliates. And for those who don't know that are listening to the broadcast what a Director of Player Development does, can you sum up in a few words what somebody in your position does?
Sure. Yeah, my position is essentially here to get the players better and help them reach the major leagues and help them be, of major league value to the organization. And so we set up our entire process around the development of people, whether it be our players or our staff, in the hopes that it leads to them essentially fulfilling their potential.
Talking to Orioles Director of Player Development, Matt Blood. Hao-Yu Lee, after fouling off the first pitch of the inning, is in a lot of pain, and trainers tending to him will see if he sticks in the ball game. And it looks like he's going to stay in and hit. So the count 0-1 on him. Well, it's a really exciting time to be involved in any capacity in the Orioles organization. #1 ranked farm system in baseball. A lot of talent up at the big league level right now with guys like Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Grayson Rodriguez up there. Another one's tapped foul its own too. I mean, just from your perspective, what's gone on in this organization since you took over in September 2019? What's it been like for you seeing so many guys progress through the system?
It's very, very exciting. We got here at the end of the 2019 season, and the transformation from then to now has been remarkable. There's really no other way to say it. It's been remarkable. We have hired a very exciting staff of coaches that are here to help the players, and the players are just tremendous. Their work ethic and their attitude and their skill level. And I think we're seeing a lot of players get better, and a lot of players show that they have major league ability, and they're starting to trickle into the major league team, which for everyone in player development, that's very fulfilling and exciting to see players that we worked with all the way from the Dominican Republic all the way up to the major league team.
Deep drive to center that Reed Trimble runs down on the warning track. Had to go a long way for that one. Pineda gave it a ride, but Trimble puts it away for out number 2. So a ground ball out and a fly out for Gene Pinto. 2 up, 2 down, and that brings up Rickson Wingrove. I mean, what have you seen so far from the trips that you've made around the farm system just this season in 2023 at the different affiliates? What have you seen from the talent throughout the system?
I think this year is the deepest we have ever been. This is going into our 4th year, and we now have matriculated talent all the way from the bottom to AAA, and you're seeing our AAA team is very heavy with prospects. As well as just major league caliber players. And then if you just go down level by level by level, you just see a depth of talent that I don't know if this organization has ever seen, and that's really really exciting. And then the coaching staffs, from my perspective, that's something I really pay attention to. And we have a lot of continuity now, and then we have processes that have been built out over the past few years, and we're seeing them implemented in a very effective way. And from my perspective, that's great because that means that things are running well, and we have really good people executing at the plan.
Gene Pinto readies the 2-2 to Wingrove. He swings and misses. Ball gets away from Retzbach. He'll have to throw off balance down to first. Nice grab by Higgins over at the bag. Strikeout and a 2-3 putout ends the top of the third. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Gene Pinto. Well, Pinto looks really good tonight. 3 innings of 1-run ball, 5 strikeouts on his stat line tonight. Well, Matt's going to stick around for another inning and a half. We'll take a quick break. We're tied at 1 after 2.5. Bottom 3 next on the IronBirds radio network. Festival. 9:30, but there was with you on the broadcast before that. Visit IronBirdsBaseball.com for more information or call 410-297-9292 and ask about Red, White, and Boom. That's IronBirdsBaseball.com. Bottom of the third inning, Michael Marcantonini back with you on the broadcast. I've got Orioles Director of Player Development Matt Blood with me in the booth as Max Wagner gets set to lead off the home half of the third. It's Wagner, Beavers, and Fabian in a tie game, 1-1 our score. As we open up the home half of the third, well, Matt, we started talking about what's going on in the Orioles system there in the top of the third, and before we wrapped up that top of the third after Gene Pinto's 1-2-3 inning, we were talking about, you were specifically talking about the coaching staffs that the Orioles have throughout their minor league systems and the continuity between them, and the communication and implementing, things throughout and everybody being on the same page, specifically with the coaching staff here in Aberdeen with Roberto Mercado and company. What's it been like working with them and communicating with them? As Wagner skies one to deep center. Schreffler a couple steps over in the gap. He's camped under it, makes the grab. So what's it like been working with Roberto and his staff, Matt?
Well, yeah, so just to talk about continuity in general, this is the first year since I've been here that all four of our managers at the affiliates have been the same and are returning to their same post. So that's a good feeling. But Roberto, we hired before last season out of a high school in Connecticut, and he has just shown to be a tremendous leader of his staff and of his players. He's a great culture creator, and he's a teacher first and foremost. So this is a very good learning environment for players. It's also, he's bilingual, which we have, as you see on this roster, kind of half and half Spanish speakers and English speakers. So it's really a blessing to have him here with this group. The staff is just a bunch of humble people who really, like, their only goal is to do everything they can to help these players, and I think the players understand that and really appreciate that. And so you just see a lot of collaboration with the staff and as well as with the players, and there's just a lot of learning going on, and that's really what we're here for.
Dylan Beavers in the batter's box with a 2-1 count on him, 1 out and no one on in a tie game here in the bottom of the third. Beavers waits the next pitch from righty Carlos Betancourt. Takes it low. It's 3-1. And one thing I noticed right away from meeting Roberto when I came aboard as the voice of the IronBirds in mid-August last year is like exactly what you said is, just a player's manager, communicates really well. And you mentioned the bilingual aspect, with so many Latin players here, you can communicate with everybody. And the teaching aspect, he was awarded the 2022 Cal Ripken Senior Player Development Award as Beavers sends one out to second. 4-3 putouts out number 2. I mean, what was it like seeing Roberto win that award after what he did in just his first season coaching in professional baseball?
Honestly, it was a little bit emotional because just seeing how much it meant to him was very moving. And when we do an award like that, it's not just one person deciding that another person's winning an award. It's sort of secretly polled amongst the group in a sort of a unofficial way. But essentially what I'm saying is that this was a lot of people saying that Roberto Mercado should win this award, and that was, for him, I think, a really neat moment that as a first-year coach in this organization for people to recognize who he is and the way he goes about things. I think that was pretty special.
Judd Fabian in the box with 2 outs and no one on. 1-1 the count on Fabian as Betancourt readies the next pitch. Breaking ball takes inside. It's 2-1. And one thing I hear Roberto talk about all the time when people ask him about, him individually in this organization, he always talks about how it's an honor and a privilege to be part of the Orioles organization, and how that award's not about him, it's about the team. What have you seen from him with the guys here so far in year 2? And of course, it's early.
I mean, I've seen him do exactly what he did last year. He set up a really great, elite learning environment, which is what we ask our coaches and especially our managers to do, is to create culture and learning. And that's what we're seeing here. We've got a lot of players that are young, some that this is their first full season in professional baseball, others that are young Latin American players, and they have a lot of learning to do, and the whole day is set up with that in mind. So he's doing what he does, and it's really, really fun to watch.
Fabian skies one in the air and foul ground over towards first base. Wingrove puts it away. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Betancourt. The Birds go down quietly here in the bottom of the third. Matt's sticking around for another inning, and we will be back for another inning after a quick break. 1-1 tie between the Blue Claws and the IronBirds. Keep it locked right here on the IronBirds Radio Network. Top of the fourth coming up next.